Hello, I'm Kimberly, and welcome to the weekend edition of the Native News Update. It's Friday, May 8th, and many of the stories you hear here can be found at IndianCountryNews.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. According to the Huffington Post, the effects of climate change are already being felt across America. Scientists estimate that if left unchecked, climate change will affect millions of Americans in the years to come. American Indian communities are among the most vulnerable as the planet warms, and they've been on the forefront of the movement to address climate change. One of the leaders who has merged is Karen Diver, the chairwoman of the Fond du Lac Band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, in northeastern Minnesota. Last year, Diver was one of the 2 tribal representatives who served on President Barack Obama's task force on climate resilience, and she pushed the government to adopt a greater sense of urgency in tackling climate change. As chairwoman of the Fond du Lac for the past 8 years, Diver has been a trailblazer on environmental issues at home as well. To read the full story, you can go to HuffingtonPost.com and search for Karen Diver Climate Change. U.S. Senators Tom Udall and Martin Henrich and U.S. Representatives Ben Ray Lujan and Steve Pierce have introduced the Esther Martinez Native American Language Preservation Act, a bill to provide grants to Native American language educational organizations to preserve disappearing Native American languages in Indian country. The bill reauthorizes the Native American Languages program until 2020 and includes improvements to expand the program's eligibility to smaller sized classes and allow for longer grant periods. The bill reauthorizes legislation that first passed in 2006 with Udall's leadership. This act amends the Native American Language Act of 1990 to strengthen Native language education by creating and funding Native Language Nests, Native Language Survival Schools, and Native American Language Restoration programs. The program's current authorization expired in 2012, but annual appropriations have continued during the lapse. According to the Department of Health and Human Services, the urgent need to protect and preserve Native American languages is clear, and applications for grants through the program roughly doubled from fiscal year 2013 to 2014. Legislation recently passed by Washington state lawmakers would require all public schools in the state to teach Native culture and history. The law would require teachers to give lessons on tribal government, history, and culture during social studies classes, and also requires the state, tribes, and school districts to collaborate on resources. Teachers could use their own resources or incorporate materials from the state's Native curriculum, which was developed in 2005 and is endorsed by 29 federally recognized tribes in Washington. A handful of states, including Oklahoma and New Mexico, also require the students learn about their state's Native American tribes. Last year, North Dakota State Superintendent of Education called for a mandatory American Indian curriculum that would mirror Montana's, which focuses on the state's 12 tribal nations. A cable channel aimed at Native Americans and other viewers who have an interest in Native American culture is in the works for the U.S. market. Variety reports that the project is in partnership between Atlanta-based Castalia Communications and Canada's Aboriginal Peoples Television Network. Castalia founder and president Luis Torres-Boll has confirmed that his company is talking with all of the major U.S. cable and satellite companies, as well as telecos. Cheyenne Brady, a member of the Sac and Fox Nation, was crowned Miss Indian World at this year's Gathering of Nations in Albuquerque, New Mexico. This was a dream come true for Brady, who has watched the annual crowning of Miss Indian World and has aspired wearing that crown since she was a young girl. The 5-day competition includes 5 categories: essay, interview, public speaking, dance, and traditional talent. Not only is Brady a member of the Sac and Fox Nation, she also represents the Cheyenne, Pawnee, Oto, Kiowa, Apache, Hidatsa, Arikara, and Tonkawa tribes. For her talent, she told a true story about a young girl who was killed carrying a white flag at the Sand Creek Massacre of 1864, when the U.S. Army killed about 200 people in a Cheyenne and Arapaho village. And that's the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and have a grand day.